Hi, my name is Nate Hardenbrook. I'm a project manager with Hagen Homes. And today I'm going to show you a couple tricks and easy ways to patch sheetrock from small and large damage that could occur in the home through the homeowner process. Today I'll start off by showing you a couple tools that we're going to use. A nice sharp knife, utility knife, is going to be nice to have. We like to use this spackle on site quite a bit just because it changes colors when it dries. So it's going to go on a pink color, and then as soon as it's dry and ready to sand and go to the next step, it's going to turn white. So that's just a nice little thing for us to be able to use in the field. And then a larger container for the larger repairs. Another thing that we like to use also for larger holes is just some reinforcement. This product works great for the larger patches, and this is just a metal mesh that we're going to apply on the wall. That's just going to help make the surface a little stronger and last longer moving forward. Going to need a spackle knife. Either size works great. Sometimes it's just easier to use a small one, so we'll show you how to use those today. And then some sanding sponges work well. I like the little stiffer ones. We're just going to create a flatter surface on the wall. I also like to keep a wet rag close by. Everything we're using today is water-based, so it's going to clean up real nice with the water. The texture that I like to use, I like to purchase it in small cans. This is a similar product to this here, so it's going to go on blue and then turn white when it's ready to sand. So we're going to start today by starting to prep the surface with a large dent in the wall. So to start with that, we want to sand the texture off around the hole so that our reinforcement material is going to sit flat on the wall and not create a bump. So this is going to help it look just as good as it can. So we're going to start off by sanding around this. After I do that, I like to take my utility knife and just clean up around the edge. You're going to get rid of any of the paper fuzz that comes from the paper on the sheetrock. This is where this sharp knife comes in handy. You're also going to want to get rid of any excess drywall pieces that could crumble. Okay, so we've got a nice hole there. So then you're going to take your patch, and these you can cut down also. Just scissors works pretty well to make that smaller if you'd like. Just place that right over it. It's got one sticky side on it, which makes it nice. Then we're going to grab our spackle. With this, don't be intimidated by it. That's really you can't really mess it up at this stage. Just like to put a thin layer over it. You can do this with either size knife. I'm going to show you with this one just because it's what most people are going to have around the house. You're going to push some of that mud all the way through that reinforced mesh. And I like to go a couple inches outside of the mesh just so that we can sand it and feather it in. And it's just going to hide a lot better on the wall. And it doesn't have to be perfect at this point. So at this point, you can leave it just like that. Let it sit overnight or for a couple hours, or put a fan on it. And then when that turns completely white, it's going to look like this one that I've already prepped. And then at this point, it is ready to sand. And with this, don't be shy. Be pretty aggressive. And I like to go in a circular motion with this. That way you don't get lines through it. And what I like to do here is take that wet rag And what you're gonna do is soften the edges where you've got these little ridges. You're just gonna kind of work them in. And this is just gonna help hide that patch once we apply the texture. So with this step, we're gonna apply the texture. This part is probably the most intimidating for people to try. The thing that I encourage people to do is to get your texture, I like to warm it up in a sink with some warm water. It seems to just apply a little more evenly and match the existing texture a little better if the can is slightly warm. I would suggest not warming this up any other way than putting it in just warm water. I like to take a scrap of paper or cardboard, and with this, these texture cans have an adjustment so that you can match the heaviness of the texture on the wall. So what you want to do is spray on a little bit. You can see try to match the texture that we have. We want it to be a little heavier. So we're about there. So that's a pretty good match. And then what works great with the cardboard also is you can use it as a shield. So you can use it below to protect the carpet from any falling material if you don't have any paint plastic on the floor. With this, I like to hold it about 12 inches to 16 inches back from the wall when you're spraying. And then just like sanding, you want to go in a circular motion. That way you don't get the lines on the wall. So with this, you just start off with a little bit and increase it until it matches the surrounding texture. And once you get it on there, you can actually expand it. And then start to fade it into the rest of the wall. So at that point, that's done. You can see it's that light blue color. And then when that's ready to paint, it'll turn completely white. You don't want to paint it before that. I would wait several hours before you apply the paint. And then with the paint, I do encourage people to put a really good primer on before you paint it. If you don't, you could get some sheen differences on that wall, and it's a lot harder to hide that patch. Thanks for checking out part 1 of our video. Check out part 2 and we'll show you how to fix a smaller patch.